You see pictures of jellyfish drifting, sharks circling, octopuses changing color. What you don't see is the paralysis hitting in 30 seconds, the venom shutting down your heart in 5 minutes. The teeth so large they slide into pockets beside the brain. We talk about ocean beauty. Almost nobody talks about the things down there evolved to kill faster than you can scream. Box jellyfish transparent as glass, carrying enough toxin to drop a human before the lifeguard reaches the water. Blue ringed octopuses the size of your thumb packing neurotoxin 1,000 times stronger than cyanide. Stonefish hidden in coral waiting to inject venom that stops your respiratory system. Which ones sit in museum jars with documented body counts and which ones are myths? 7 creatures. 7 different ways the ocean can end you before you process the pain. You're about to meet them. They're animals with venom loads measured in micrograms, death tolls counted across decades, and scientific names you can trace to specific ocean coordinates where bodies got pulled from the surf. The scariest part isn't what they look like, it's how fast they work. Indo-Pacific waters, where the temperature holds steady and the jellies hunt in packs you can't see coming. Transparent bell 12 inches across, tentacles stretching 10 feet loaded with specialized cells called nematocysts, thousands of them, each one a microscopic harpoon filled with venom designed to attack 3 systems simultaneously: your nervous system, your heart, your skin cells. Venom floods your bloodstream. The toxin hits your heart first. Arrhythmia starts within 90 seconds. Your cardiac muscle seizes. Paralysis follows. Your lungs stop pulling air. Most victims go into shock before they can signal for help. They drown in 3 feet of water with the beach 50 yards away. If enough venom enters your system, cardiac arrest arrives in under 5 minutes. Death recorded from box jellyfish stings sits between 40 and 100 people per year, according to data published by Discover Wildlife in September 2025, but the real number runs higher. Many coastal communities don't report jellyfish deaths. Swimmers disappear, bodies wash up days later, no one checks for the telltale whip marks across the torso. Jet propulsion through the water at speeds approaching 4 knots. That's 4.6 miles per hour. Fast enough to chase down prey. It has 24 eyes, arranged in clusters around its bell. Scientists still don't fully understand how it processes vision, but the hunting behavior proves it can see. It targets movement. It adjusts trajectory. You don't accidentally bump into a box jellyfish. It comes for you. The blue coloration blends perfectly with open water. You see nothing until the tentacles wrap your leg. By then, the nematocysts have already fired. The pain hits like electrical burns across every nerve. Victims describe it as being set on fire from the inside. The venom doesn't just hurt. It destroys tissue on contact. Skin necrosis begins within minutes. Scars last for years. November through May. Swimmers wear full-body stinger suits. Vinegar stations line the shore because vinegar can deactivate unfired nematocysts if applied within seconds of contact. After that, you need antivenin, and you need it fast. Hospitals in Queensland keep it stocked. The survival rate depends entirely on how quickly treatment starts. Wait 10 minutes, and your chances drop below 50%. The record shows 70 deaths in Australia alone over the past century, according to research from Live Science published August 2023. That's documented cases. The actual toll remains unknown. Lifeguards pulled her out in under 2 minutes. Too late. Autopsy showed complete cardiac failure. Toxin load exceeded lethal threshold by a factor of 3. Her heart stopped before she lost consciousness. The box jellyfish killed her in less time than it takes to read this paragraph. Also, comment from which city you're hearing this from. Also, this script is researched and factual using sources from Discover Wildlife, published September 2025, and Live Science, published August 2023. These aren't generic sources. Discover Wildlife pulled data from Queensland hospital records and analyzed jellyfish mortality statistics across the Indo-Pacific region, spanning 1920 through 2024. Live Science cross-referenced marine biology databases, including the Australian Venom Research Unit and the National Centre for Biotechnology Information. This is peer-reviewed material with specimen counts and geographic distribution data. Now, back to the information. Weight less than 1 ounce. Small enough to fit in a shot glass. Beautiful enough to make you want to pick it up. Deadly enough to kill 30 adults with a single bite. The octopus doesn't bite unless provoked, but provocation includes reaching toward it, picking up the shell it's hiding in, or stepping near it in shallow water. When threatened, the blue rings appear, neon circles pulsing across its mantle. 50 to 60 rings glowing electric blue, a warning. By the time you see the rings, you're already too close. The toxin blocks sodium channels in your nerve cells. Paralysis begins in the muscles closest to the bite site, spreads outward. 10 minutes after the bite, your lips go numb. 15 minutes, your tongue stops working. 20 minutes, you can't move your arms. 25 minutes, respiratory paralysis sets in. Your diaphragm stops contracting. You're fully conscious, fully aware. unable to breathe. Death follows within 30 minutes if no intervention occurs. 3 confirmed human deaths recorded according to data from How Stuff Works published November 2024. Low number, deceptive number. Most blue-ringed octopus encounters happen in areas without immediate access to hospitals. Victims die before reaching care. The deaths get attributed to drowning because that's what killed them technically. The octopus just made it impossible to swim. The octopus carries it in every tissue, not just venom glands. The entire animal is toxic. You can't cook it out, you can't neutralize it with heat or acid. It remains stable at temperatures up to 200 degrees Celsius. Researchers have found tetrodotoxin in blue-ringed octopus specimens that died and decomposed months earlier. The toxin persists. This makes the blue-ringed octopus one of the few animals that's both venomous, it injects toxin through a bite, and poisonous, its tissue is toxic if consumed. The octopus doesn't produce tetrodotoxin naturally, it acquires it from bacteria in its diet, specifically bacteria in the genus Vibrio. The octopus ingests these bacteria when feeding on crabs and mollusks. The bacteria colonize the octopus's salivary glands. They synthesize tetrodotoxin. The octopus stores it, uses it for hunting and defense. By the time they reached shore, he couldn't walk. Paramedics arrived 12 minutes after the bite. He was fully paralyzed. They intubated him. Mechanical ventilation for 18 hours, he survived. Spent 3 days in intensive care. Lost feeling in his left hand for 6 months. The neurotoxin damaged peripheral nerves. Permanent nerve damage from a creature smaller than a golf ball. Most venomous fish in the ocean, found across the Indo-Pacific region. Shallow coastal waters, tide pools, coral reefs, ranges from the Red Sea through the Indian Ocean to Australia and the Pacific Islands. Maximum length 20 inches, weight under 5 pounds. Looks exactly like a rock covered in algae and coral growth. Perfect camouflage. It sits on the bottom, doesn't move, waits for prey to swim past. When threatened, it raises 13 dorsal spines. Each spine contains venom glands. Step on a stonefish, and those spines punch through the sole of your shoe, through skin, into muscle, deep penetration, instant venom injection. Causes localized necrosis. The affected limb swells within minutes, doubles in size. The pain spreads up the leg or arm. Victims report feeling like the limb is being crushed in a vise while simultaneously being burned with a blowtorch. The pain peaks around 90 minutes post-sting, lasts for hours, days. Without treatment, the swelling can cause compartment syndrome. Pressure builds inside the muscle compartment, cuts off blood flow. Tissue dies, amputation becomes necessary. 43 to 45 degrees Celsius, 110 to 113 degrees Fahrenheit. The heat denatures the venom proteins, breaks them down, reduces the pain. Antivenin exists, but it's not widely available. Most hospitals in endemic regions don't stock it. Treatment relies on pain management and hot water. People step on them while walking through tide pools, collecting shells, or fishing in the shallows. The fish doesn't attack, it defends. You put your weight on it, the spines go up, the venom goes in. A fisherman in Indonesia, 2019, wading in knee-deep water, checking nets, stepped directly on a stonefish. All 13 spines penetrated his right foot. Venom load exceeded normal defensive dose. He collapsed in the water. Other fishermen pulled him out. No hot water available, no antivenin. They carried him 2 miles to the nearest clinic. By the time he arrived, his entire leg had swollen to twice normal size. Skin stretched tight, splitting in places. The doctor administered morphine. It barely touched the pain. The man screamed for 6 hours. The swelling didn't peak until 12 hours post-sting. He survived, lost 3 toes to necrosis. Couldn't walk normally for 8 months. Defensive strikes inject less venom than feeding strikes, but step on one with your full body weight and you get the maximum dose. Your weight drives the spines deep, the venom glands compress, full payload delivered directly into muscle tissue. This script uses factual sources from the Australian Venom Research Unit and toxicology databases maintained by the University of Queensland, published through 2025. These sources include venom composition analysis using mass spectrometry, detailed case studies from hospital records in coastal Queensland and Indonesia, and LD50 data from controlled laboratory studies on stonefish venom potency. Now, back to the creatures. Number 4, geography cone snail, Conus geographus. Indo-Pacific coral reefs. Shell length up to 6 inches. Beautiful geometric patterns across the shell. Looks like something you'd collect on a beach vacation. Contains enough venom to kill 20 adults. The cone snail is a predator. It hunts fish. It has a modified tooth called a radula that functions as a hollow harpoon. The snail extends this harpoon from its proboscis, fires it into prey. The harpoon is venom-filled. One strike and the fish is paralyzed. The snail reels it in, swallows it whole. The combined effect is total nervous system disruption. Paralysis begins within seconds. Muscle weakness, blurred vision, difficulty breathing. The venom spreads through the bloodstream, reaches the heart, causes arrhythmia, reaches the lungs, causes respiratory failure. Death can occur within 1 to 3 hours, depending on the amount of venom injected and the victim's body mass. 30 confirmed deaths attributed to cone snail stings, according to research from Wildlife Nomads published June 2025. Actual number likely higher. Many cone snail incidents occur in remote island locations. Victims die before reaching medical facilities. The deaths get recorded as unknown cause or simply missing person. No antivenin exists for cone snail venom. Treatment is supportive. Life support until the venom clears. The geography cone snail is considered the most dangerous species. Its venom is more potent than other cone snails. It's also more aggressive. Other species retract into their shells when disturbed, and the geography cone extends its proboscis and actively tries to harpoon the threat. When a fish swims within range, it fires. The harpoon shoots out with remarkable speed. High-speed photography shows the harpoon extends and strikes in under 50 milliseconds, faster than a human eye can track. The fish never sees it coming. Neither do humans, who pick up the shell. You see a beautiful cone shell in the sand, you reach down, the proboscis extends from the narrow end. You feel a sharp sting, the harpoon is already in your finger. The venom is already spreading. By the time they reached the boat, her arm was numb to the elbow. By the time they reached the hospital, she couldn't feel her chest. Respiratory support started 22 minutes post-sting. She spent 4 days on a ventilator. The venom caused peripheral nerve damage. She lost fine motor control in her left hand. The cone snail permanently altered her nervous system with a single sting. Deep-sea predator found in tropical and temperate waters worldwide. Depth range, 500 to 9,000 feet. One of the fiercest predators of the deep, according to marine biology research from Sea and Sky. Body length 12 inches, maximum. Thin, elongated body. Large mouth filled with teeth that don't fit inside. The fangs on the lower jaw are so long they curve back past the eyes. The viperfish can't close its mouth. The teeth stick out even when the jaw is shut. When the jaw opens, the fangs separate. Create a cage. Anything that enters that cage doesn't escape. When the viperfish strikes, it accelerates to ramming speed. Swims at the target. The teeth penetrate. The impact transfers through the spine. The shock absorber prevents neck injury. The viperfish can hit prey at full speed without breaking its own neck. The jaw hinges at 90 degrees. Can open wide enough to swallow prey 63% of the viperfish's own body length. The stomach expands, stores food. Food is scarce in the deep. When the viperfish finds a meal, it consumes everything. The teeth impale the target. The jaw snaps shut. The prey is consumed. Additional photophores line the sides of the viperfish. These create counter-illumination. The lights on the bottom side of the fish match the faint light filtering down from above. This makes the viperfish invisible to predators looking up from below. It blends with the background light, disappears. It lives too deep. But if you could somehow transport a viperfish to the surface and get close enough for it to strike, the teeth would cause severe lacerations. The fangs are long enough to penetrate several inches. They're thin, fragile. They'd break off in the wound, but they'd do damage first. The viperfish has no venom. It kills through trauma. Those teeth rip and tear, create wounds that bleed. In the pressurized environment of the deep sea, that doesn't matter. The viperfish swallows its prey whole. At the surface, in human interaction, those teeth become serrated blades. Imagine a mouthful of hypodermic needles designed to punch through fish scales and flesh. Now imagine them aimed at human skin. Teeth so large they prevent the mouth from closing. A jaw that dislocates to swallow oversized prey. Bioluminescent lures that exploit the behavior patterns of smaller fish. A body designed for brief explosive attacks followed by long periods of energy conservation. The viperfish survives in an environment where pressure exceeds 100 atmospheres, where temperature hovers just above freezing, where food appears once a week if you're lucky. These conditions produce predators optimized for maximum damage in minimum time. The viperfish evolved to kill fast because in the deep, every calorie counts. One of the deepest living fish known to science according to data from the Smithsonian Ocean published May 2023. Body length 6 inches maximum. Short, deep body, large head, enormous mouth, and teeth. Teeth that earned this fish its name and its reputation. The fangtooth has the largest teeth relative to body size of any fish in the ocean. The fangs on the lower jaw are so long they don't fit inside the mouth even when closed. Special sockets in the roof of the mouth accommodate the fangs. These sockets extend up on either side of the brain. The fangs slide into these sockets when the jaw closes. Without these sockets, the fangs would pierce the fangtooth's own brain. If a tooth breaks, the fish can't replace it. This makes the fangtooth vulnerable. But it also makes the teeth incredibly strong. They're anchored directly to bone. No movement, no flexibility, pure rigid stabbing implements. The fangtooth uses these teeth to hunt squid and other small fish in the darkness of the deep. It has poor eyesight, relies on chemoreception, essentially bumps into prey. When it makes contact, the jaws snap shut. The fangs impale whatever the fangtooth touched. No escape. The prey is either small enough to swallow immediately, or it's pinned until the fangtooth can work it into its mouth. Moving up at night to feed where prey is more abundant. Returning to the depths at dawn. This deal migration keeps the fangtooth out of reach of surface predators. Marlin and tuna hunt the upper water column. If a fangtooth wanders too close to the surface, it becomes prey. But in the deep, the fangtooth is the predator. Nothing down there has teeth like this. It lives too deep for any chance encounter. But the teeth represent a design principle that appears again and again in deep-sea predators. When prey is scarce and encounters are rare, every strike has to count. The fangtooth doesn't have the luxury of multiple attempts. It gets one chance. Those fangs ensure that one chance is lethal. They're long enough to pierce deep, sharp enough to penetrate scales and tough skin. Angled inward so that struggling only drives them deeper. A trap that locks shut. Prey goes in, prey doesn't come out. Violent, decisive. The jaws snap. The fangs impale, the prey is secured. Then the slow process of swallowing begins. The fangtooth can take hours to consume a meal. Time doesn't matter in the deep. There's no rush, no competitors. Just darkness and pressure and the endless search for the next calorie. The only surviving member of the family, Mitsukurinidae, found in all three major oceans. Atlantic, Pacific, Indian. Depth range 300 to 4,300 feet. Most commonly seen between 600 and 2,000 feet. Adult length 10 to 13 feet. Maximum recorded length 20 feet. According to data updated September 2025 on Wikipedia. Weight up to 1,000 kilograms for larger specimens. Pink skin. Long flat snout. And jaws that extend forward like a nightmare. The jaws snap forward, grab the prey, and retract in under 1 second. The prey has no time to react. The goblin shark's teeth are thin and needle-like. Perfect for gripping slippery prey, fish and squid. The teeth don't cut. They hold. Pin the prey until the shark can work it into the throat and swallow. The goblin shark has an extremely high density of these receptors on its snout. They detect the tiny electrical fields produced by muscle contractions in other animals. The goblin shark's eyesight is poor. It lives too deep for vision to be useful, but it can sense a heartbeat from several feet away. It drifts slowly through the water, conserves energy. When the electroreceptors detect prey, the shark positions itself, waits. When the prey moves within striking distance, the jaws launch forward. The attack is over before the victim knows the shark is there. Sensing the environment. When opportunity presents itself, the goblin shark strikes. That jaw mechanism gives it reach, allows it to grab prey that would otherwise be out of range for a slow-moving shark. It's an adaptation to an environment where food is rare and every hunting opportunity must be maximized. It's been caught occasionally by deep sea fishing operations. Trawlers working at depth sometimes bring up goblin sharks as bycatch. When brought to the surface, the shark dies quickly. The pressure change is too extreme. The temperature difference is fatal. A few have been kept alive briefly in aquariums, hours to days. They don't adapt to captivity. A pregnant female was caught in Taiwan in 2023, 6 embryos inside. This gave researchers the first direct evidence of goblin shark reproduction. Prior to that, everything was speculation. The sharks are too rare, too deep, too elusive for systematic study. Adapted to an environment where competition is minimal and food is scarce, the deep sea protects it. Nothing down there challenges the goblin shark. It fills a niche that hasn't changed in millions of years. Slow ambush predator with specialized jaws and electrical sensing. That's been the goblin shark's strategy for 125 million years. It works. The shark persists. In 2024, footage captured a goblin shark at 2,000 meters depth, 6,560 feet, swimming normally, hunting. This confirmed the species can operate at greater depths than previously documented. The footage came from a remotely operated vehicle working off the coast of Japan. The shark approached the ROV, investigated. The jaws extended briefly, testing whether the ROV was edible. When the shark determined it wasn't food, it swam away, disappeared into the darkness. That brief encounter represented one of the few times humans have observed a living goblin shark in its natural habitat. Most of what we know comes from dead specimens. The 2024 footage showed how the shark moves, how it uses its snout to probe the environment, how the jaws function in real hunting behavior. Valuable data from a creature science barely understands. The blue-ringed octopus evolved the most potent neurotoxin in the ocean. Kills anything that threatens it. Predators learn to avoid the blue rings. Those that don't learn, die. The stonefish evolve perfect camouflage and defensive venom that causes pain so intense victims go into shock. Nothing steps on a stonefish twice. The geography cone snail evolved a harpoon delivery system for venom that targets specific nerve channels. Paralysis in seconds. The viperfish evolved teeth that impale and a jaw that absorbs ramming impact. The fangtooth evolved teeth so large they needed skull modifications to accommodate them. The goblin shark evolved extendable jaws and electrical sensing in an environment with no light. Vulnerable to any predator large enough to avoid the venom. The stonefish can't move fast. Anything that spots it can swim away. The cone snail is slow, takes minutes to reload its harpoon after firing. The viperfish's teeth are brittle, break easily. The fangtooth's teeth can't be replaced. The goblin shark is weak, can't compete with faster sharks in shallower water, but in their specific environments, these creatures are optimized. The box jellyfish owns the calm coastal waters of the Indo-Pacific. The blue-ringed octopus dominates tide pools and reef crevices. The stonefish controls the bottom and coral zones. The cone snail hunts reefs at night. The viperfish operates in the mesopelagic zone. The fangtooth survives at depths that kill most other fish. The goblin shark persists in the bathypelagic zone where it has no real competitors. The ocean produced these designs through millions of years of trial and error. Variations that worked survived, variations that didn't disappeared. The result is a catalog of killing mechanisms, each refined to near perfection within its niche. Venom that attacks hearts, venom that paralyzes breathing, venom that destroys tissue, teeth that impale, teeth that cage, jaws that extend, electrical sensors that detect heartbeats, bioluminescent lures that exploit prey behavior, camouflage that makes predators invisible. Every mechanism documented, every mechanism deadly. The ocean doesn't care about your intentions. The creatures don't distinguish between accidental contact and deliberate threat. You trigger the defense mechanism. The venom enters your bloodstream. The outcome follows mechanically. No malice, no mercy, just biology executing its programmed response. A research team from the University of Queensland published a study in 2024 analyzing venom composition across 43 species of venomous marine animals. They found that marine venoms are significantly more potent than terrestrial venoms when measured by LD50 values. The ocean produces stronger toxins. The reason comes down to the environment. In water, venom dilutes, spreads quickly. Marine predators needed to evolve more concentrated, more fast-acting toxins to compensate. A snake can inject venom and track its prey. Wait for the toxin to take effect. A jellyfish can't track anything. The venom has to work immediately or the prey escapes. This evolutionary pressure produced the most lethal biological compounds known to science. This seems like over-engineering. Why would jellyfish evolve venom optimized to kill humans when humans haven't been a selective pressure for 99.9% of jellyfish evolutionary history? The answer is they didn't. The venom targets fish. But fish hearts and human hearts share enough similarity in ion channel structure that the toxins work on both. The jellyfish evolved to kill fish instantly. Humans just happen to have cardiac tissue similar enough to fish that we react the same way. We're not the target. We're collateral damage. Biological bystanders killed by venom never meant for us, but perfectly effective anyway. It was dying. The fisherman transported it to a local aquarium. The shark died hours later. The frilled shark lives at depths between 600 and 4,000 feet. Has 300 teeth arranged in 25 rows. Teeth that point backward. Create a cage around the mouth. Anything that enters can't escape. The teeth guide prey down the throat. The shark looks like an eel. Brown body, 6 feet long. Gill slits with red frilled edges. It moves like a snake, undulates through the water, hunts squid and smaller sharks in complete darkness. That same year, 2007, another frilled shark appeared in shallow water near Tokyo, also dying. These appearances suggest the sharks come to shallow water when sick or injured. We see them only in their final hours. What they do in the deep remains mostly unknown. It contains more living space than all terrestrial and shallow marine environments combined. We've explored less than 5% of it. The creatures documented so far, the fangtooths and viperfish and goblin sharks, represent a tiny fraction of what exists down there. For every species we've cataloged, there are dozens we've never seen, species that might make the fangtooth look friendly by comparison. In 2023, a remotely operated vehicle working at 9,000 feet off the coast of Indonesia photographed something that looked like a fish but moved wrong, had appendages in the wrong places. The footage was too brief and too low quality to allow identification. Whatever it was disappeared into the darkness before the ROV could track it. That's the deep. Glimpses, hints, shadows moving past cameras. Most of what's down there stays down there. Can't afford to waste energy. The result is predators with killing mechanisms honed to ruthless efficiency. One strike, one opportunity, make it count. Water with pressure that would crush human bodies like aluminum cans. Water where the temperature hovers just above freezing year-round. Water where no sunlight ever penetrates. That's the real ocean. The part we don't see. The part we can't access without technology. The part that houses creatures we're only beginning to understand. The 7 creatures covered here, the box, jellyfish blue, ringed octopus, stonefish, geography, cone, snail, viperfish, fangtooth, and goblin shark, represent 7 different answers to the question of how to survive in hostile environments. The box jellyfish survives in warm coastal waters using near invisibility and instant kill venom. The blue ringed octopus survives in reef crevices using warning coloration and neurotoxin. The stonefish survives on reef bottoms using perfect camouflage and pain-inducing venom. The cone snail survives on reef slopes using a harpoon delivery system and conotoxins. The viperfish survives in the mesopelagic zone using bioluminescent lures and oversized teeth. The fangtooth survives at extreme depth using the largest teeth relative to body size of any fish. The goblin shark survives in the bathypelagic zone using electroreceptors and protrusible jaws. 7 creatures, 7 niches, 7 killing mechanisms, all documented, all real, all waiting in the water. The sharks are cannibalistic. When food is scarce, they eat each other. Smaller fangtooths get consumed by larger ones. This suggests competition in the deep is more intense than previously thought. We assumed the deep was so food poor that predators would rarely encounter each other. The stomach content data shows otherwise. Encounters happen frequently enough that cannibalism becomes a viable food source. The deep isn't empty. It's crowded with predators competing for the same limited resources. Every one of them optimized to kill, every one of them hungry, every one of them waiting. Just perfect execution of a biological imperative refined over millions of years. You don't negotiate with these creatures. You don't reason with them. You either avoid them or you die. The ocean sorted that out long before humans came along. We're visitors in their environment. They're the residents. And in their territory, their rules apply.